YouTube, what it do? It's your guy CJ, back with another video of the CJ Wilkins YouTube channel. Today I want to do an episode, man. I don't know where this idea for an episode came from, but God put it on my heart to share with y'all, man. So I'm gonna talk about it. Far too many times, people exist in a constant place of stagnation. They just stay standing still in the same spot for weeks, for months, for years, for decades, and they literally allow life to pass them by. You know, and there's so many ways, so many different avenues that I can go with this topic that I want to go with this topic, but I'm gonna try to keep it on a streamline. So just try to go with me a little bit, right? People exist in a perpetual state of stagnation to where like they exist in this constant loop, this constant replay of the same life day in and day out. And the reasons why people choose to stay within these type of confines of existing, because it's not living. If you've been in the same spot for 10, 20 years, and I'm not talking or speaking towards the people who are content. If you're someone and you've been in a situation or you've been at a job for 20 years and you're cool, then I'm most definitely not talking to you. So before people watch this video and think I'm trying to shame people for being, comfortable or, content with life or whatever, I'm not really speaking towards that. But most people live a life to where they, at some point, they want more. They may have thoughts or dreams or hopes or ambitions of doing things beyond, like, like where they are right now. And when I say stagnation, man, look, you can be stagnant in a plethora of different things. I know people who are stagnant from the standpoint of like they are literally in the hometown that they grew up in and they've never been anywhere else. And it's almost like they're handcuffed to the zip code that they were born to, you know what I mean? Or like people who've been like caught in the same job for like years and years and years. And they're miserable, man. Like they're not okay with where they are, but where they are is very comfortable. You know what I mean? Like they're not crazy about their job, but what they're doing is what they know, and they're like, okay, cool, like this is it. People are stagnant, man, like in relationships, even in marriages, bro. You know what I mean? Like people are just like kind of not maximizing what the union could be, or what the relationship should be. But this is like what I know. This is what I'm used to. And even if they're in the wrong marriage or the wrong relationships, a lot of times people will kind of like they'll stick it out or they'll try to like hope that things will change one day. And so they are constantly on this ever playing like never ending loop of just the same thing, like just going over and over and over. And I want you guys to just start thinking about like what area of your life are you stagnant in? Is it career? Is it relationship? Is it like personal development? Is it health? You've had a New Year's resolution to lose weight for 10 years in a row and you haven't done it. It could be financial, man. Like you're stagnant financially. Like you're not doing bad, but you're not doing great. Or you're doing okay and you could be doing a lot better. Or you're not doing really good financially, but you have the potential to, if you put a few things in order, your life will be able to be better within that lane. Whatever it is, guys, there is something out here you can do to put your life into motion, to create movement. And that's really the way you have to look at it. Like you have to create movement. You got to create some type of motion to get going, right? Because whenever you're stagnant, what you want to initiate, what you want to really get started, is you want to exit that comfort zone. You know, because when you're stagnant, when you're not moving, and you're standing in just one place, right? And everyone's soaring by and flying by and everything, and like you're seeing other people traveling and living life and building families and starting businesses and like hitting new plateaus every like every so many years and stuff like that. These are people who are moving. These are people who are like trying to get to the next level, and that's what I wish everyone had that mindset, man. Like, you know what I mean? And everyone's next level doesn't have to be the same. I'm not saying everyone has to swing for the fence and try to be the best version of themselves or like try to be the most optimum like version of them. But stagnation, man, really is, gotta choose my words carefully, man. Stagnation is really almost like a death, you know what I mean? Like you're not dead in the sense to where like you've been buried and they've had your funeral. But stagnation, man, is almost like you've given up almost, you know what I mean? Like it's almost like it's a death to happiness or a death to purpose or it's a death to mission. And I think we all have a mission statement in life. I think if you have a pulse and you have an opposable thumb and you walk on 2 feet, God made you for a reason, right? So if and you're stuck in your hometown, man, and there's things that you want to do, you may be like a hairstylist, you may be an artist, and you may be living where you grew up at. And sometimes, man, to get to that next level or to give yourself a better position, you have to relocate to an area that's going to make you more successful too. Like location is so important in business or in certain industries. Like if you're an artist, especially like if you're a rapper or something, if you're not in Atlanta, I really don't know what you're doing. If you're into beauty or if you're like a makeup person, if you don't live near a metropolis to where you're able to get into like these larger cities and like go to conventions and put yourself out there to build a brand and build a name for yourself, if you're in any type of like business or industry, man, like you have to like know your industry to where are the most successful people who do what I do, where do they live, what's the most successful, what's the hottest market. And you don't even have to relocate and move there, but like know how to like get you a plane ticket, jump on a flight and go to these places, man, and start connecting and rubbing elbows and shoulders with these people. Some of y'all have been stagnant in your career, man, and you've really been selling yourself short for a long time. And, you've been not making the money that you want to make, and you're really going to a job every day that doesn't speak to you. And the job is so defeating and it's so spirit crushing, man. It's like, I work in corporate America, I work in finance, and I see it every day, man. Like, I see a lot of people who truly, they just hate what they do, right? But they don't hate what they do from the standpoint of like the job is just horrible. They just hate what they do because like it's almost like a dead end. Like they feel like, they're so robotic, you know what I mean? And corporate America itself is like we can do a whole episode on that. Like corporate America, there's a lot of things about corporate America that is kind of leaves a leaves a little bit to be desired. But the people who have jobs they hate that isn't towards their life purpose, that doesn't contribute to their mission as to who they want to be in life, to where they want to go. But because they have kids or because they have obligations or because they have bills bills to pay, they go to this job. And what they're doing is they're literally selling themselves out. You're selling out what you were put here to do. You're selling out your passion. You're selling out your purpose. And listen, I'm not telling you guys to just up and quit your job. I'm not one of those YouTubers who's gonna come on here and tell you, man, quit your job and go be a billionaire tomorrow. I'm not telling you to do that. What I am telling you is if you're in a job setting that is soul sucking, and it's not geared towards your purpose and where you want to be, and you hate your job because there's only so it's so there's only so much amount of time you can dedicate towards something to where it's to where you become like robotic in it. And these roles, man, these jobs that are not geared towards your purpose and what you want out of life, they're so draining, right? They're just so draining that it starts to take a it, it starts to take a toll and an effect on you, like on a personal level. You know what I mean? So you have to get up and think about like how can I begin to incorporate what I want to do in addition to what I'm currently doing. So don't just quit your job and you don't have a savings or you don't have like something set up to where you can still sustain and take care of yourself. Always have you a source of income, but never. And I don't care if you have a job you love, right? If you have a job you actually like, if you're in the minority of people who like wake up every morning and you go to a place where you don't mind being for the next 8 hours, don't allow a job to be your only source of income. I don't care if you. I'm aiming this towards people who really don't like what they do from 9 to 5. But if you're someone who do, try to create you a second or third or fourth, stream of income, so you don't have to solely rely on that just one job. You know what I mean? So get creative with that, man. But people who have been in relationships or marriages, man, and like it's just stagnant. It's not going anywhere. It's not going anywhere, man. Like either like you're married and like y'all done lost the thunder and it's been out of touch and out of whack for years, and you're just together right now because I know people, man, who are together because it's too expensive for them to get a divorce. It's just the financial strain it'll put on them to leave each other is so great. They'll just kind of settle and stay like where they are. But if you're like just in a relationship, bro, sis, and you're with somebody who you don't really see a long term future with a person, and y'all are just kind of stringing each other along, bro, try to do some like soul searching and try to like come up with the strength, man, to maybe it's time to do something else. Maybe it's time to like, uh, part from that and each other and, try to find yourself or try to find another situation. And when I say stagnant, I mean like it's just I know people, man, like who've been like the chick kind of wants to get like she wants to get a ring, and the guy may not be really geared towards that or like whatever way. When two people don't want the same thing, and it's like you're together, but you want opposite things out of life. You know what I'm saying? But because of like you're familiar with each other and because you have a history with each other, you just kind of stay together. Or because they have other things like they may have kids together or they may like whatever. But they're in dead end relationships to where it's like he's not happy, she's not happy, or he and he aren't happy, or she and she are not happy. They just kind of stick around because the enemy you know is better than the enemy you don't. I think that's a quote from Jordan Peterson. Don't quote me on that. Um, but yeah, man, like regardless of the scenario you're in, you create a box for yourself, and you box yourself in when you're settling for mediocrity in your life, when you were born and created to do so much more. You were born and created to be so much more. So I always love to find new ways to push and challenge myself in every aspect of life, bro. Every aspect, man. Like whether it's financially, whether it's spiritually, whether it's like health, whether it's like content creation, relationships, dating, any of that, man. And the reason why is because you have to be on a constant pursuit of better, right? And not better in the sense of like you always have to hop from job to job or from relationship to relationship or from like apartment to apartment or like things like that, but there has to be a part of you in life that has a purpose. There has to be a part of you that has a drive to where you view yourself in a way to where you want better for yourself. And sometimes we get into these situations to where we're not improving. We're not getting better. And subconsciously, because we're not getting better, we're inherently getting worse, right? Because nothing stays the same. Things are always like changing. So I'm a firm believer that if you're not improving, you're getting worse. If you're not getting better, you know. So always push yourself to grow, man. Always push yourself to try to get to that next level, right? And understand and know that being in situations that doesn't serve you, it only hurts you. Y'all be in these one-sided relationships where you're pouring all of this into another person and you're not getting anything in return. Y'all give the best working years of your lives to jobs that you're literally just a number on a sheet. There's no connections, there's no passion in what you do. There's no reciprocity or acknowledgement for your great work. You're just showing up to this place or logging in because some people work remote, and you're logging in for this company who doesn't truly acknowledge the gifts you have or the talent that you have that can go a little bit beyond like where you are currently, right? And some of y'all are just living in places, man, where like you've outgrown that city. You've outgrown where you're from. It's time for you to move on and bet on yourself finally in life. Like I always tell people, man, you gotta bet on yourself, bro. Sis, you got to bet on yourself. Like no one is going to bet on you if you don't bet on yourself. So y'all have gotten so comfortable. Comfortable isn't even a word. Y'all have gotten used to where you are. And because you've gotten so used and comfortable to where you are, you haven't pushed yourself or challenged yourself in years. I'm talking like some people so comfortable, man, like being at where they're from, they don't even have a like they can't even conceptualize like other places in the world or like they don't even think they would be able to stand on their own in other places, you know. But you can. You can. Um, I've moved several times, man. I've lived in a lot of places, and I can tell you, man, every time you go up to another level or every time you bet on yourself, you're gonna have to become a different version of you, and that is honestly one of the top things that keeps me alive, that keeps me driven, that keeps me motivated, it keeps that hunger and that passion to keep developing. Pushing yourself to that next level is gonna force you to become a better part of who you were designed to be. It's gonna force you to be someone different. You know, some people fear promotions because if they get a promotion, whether it's from entry level to middle management to executive, whether it's from boyfriend and girlfriend to fiance to husband and wife, some people fear that because they know that if I go to the next level, it's gonna force me to become a different version of who I am, right? It's gonna force me to be someone different than who I am right now, and people look at that in a negative context sometimes. People don't view that in a good way. So they kind of shrink themselves or they stagnate themselves so they don't have to grow, so they don't have to become the best version of themselves. So they'll string a person along or they'll string themselves along just to get by, but they're living in an existence that they're not proud of, one that they're not happy with, and one that they're so they despise it so much they have to do things to desensitize themselves from life, because they hate it. So I don't want you guys to be that. If you're listening or you're watching this video, man, I don't want you to fall into that category. So do some homework, man, and really just sit down and have a heart to heart with yourself and think about what areas in my life am I stagnant in right now, and fix it, change it, because you don't have to be. You know what I mean? If you're at a job you hate, get that resume together. Go to Google like certificates and like do some online courses and add some skills on, man, so you can try to go do something different. Or you can excel, like go get some licenses or try to get more training in different areas to where you can be more valuable so you can go and not just ask for a different job, but you can actually like make more money in the process, you know? You in a relationship, man, and you want this and they want that, and y'all are like, you don't see a future with this person, and you felt this way for months and years, and you, for whatever reason, you haven't left. It's okay to give that person a pink slip. It's okay. Don't do it in a demeaning or a disrespectful or a mean way, but you can. There's ways that you can, end a relationship that's not serving you, right? However, the scenario is right now isn't the way that it has to be. So if you're stagnant and you're not moving, you got to get moving. You got to start putting action behind the thoughts and ideas and dreams that you have. And you have to try to climb and push for more. And the goal isn't always constantly being on the hunt for more. I'm not putting this content out for that. But if you are selling yourself short in life because you fear something better happening for you, unstagnate yourself, man. Get moving. And you would be so surprised how much your life could change and not that long of a time. Like sometimes you think, oh, I got to do so much and it's going to take so long. Sometimes, man, if you put your head down and you come up with a goal and a game plan and you grind for 90 days, just grind for 3 months and watch your life be completely different in just 3 months. Anyway, man, before I start rambling, it's your boy CJ. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel, man. Let me know what y'all think in the comments too, man. Like if you're stagnant on something, like what are some things that like we can do? I can learn from you guys as well. Like what are some things that you've been like stagnant on that you've put in like work for or you will? Again, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that, and I'm out. Peace.